All right, cool. Do I do continue? Hold on. Load a save. What is the difference? Oh. Oh, I'm sorry to hear of, and continue is good? Okay. So, like last time, the adventure of the unbreakable speckled band. Okay. Cool. That's what I'm glad to know that. So yeah, the last time Ryu was on trial for murder, it wasn't him because it's never him. It's never actually the accused. And so he defended himself so that his best friend and potential love interest, wink wink, could go to London. And we found the real killer. And then it turns out that she won't stand trial because I guess the government of England has decided to invoke a consular court. So that's upsetting. And now we're just kind of moving on with our lives. Quick thing, real quick. I have this bag of Lifesavers gummies here. I was wondering if you guys would be upset if every so often I would just like chow down on a Lifesavers gummy. Will that bother you? I'll try not to talk with my mouth full, obviously, but like, if there's a lull, I might just, eat a gummy. It will only bother you if I do it irregularly, or it will not bother you only if I do it irregularly. Did I say that? Did that? Whatever. Oh god, that's great. That's hilarious, actually. So it's the Lifesavers Gummies Wild Berry pack. So strawberry, raspberry, blackberry, black raspberry, white grape, and cherry. Cherry berry. It'll bother me if I do it irregularly. Well, I mean, I'm not just gonna like, oh, gummy time, like every 5 minutes, so I'm not gonna announce. I'll probably just won't announce it, but if there's like a lull, I'll probably eat a gummy. Let's start. Let's go ahead. Enough with that. Episode 2. The Adventure of the Unbreakable Speckled Band.
In a corner of that small, dark room, Sholmes and I waited with bated breath. In time, there came from the ventilator a hiss and a soft, almost growl-like sound. Suddenly, Sholmes sprang into action, lashing furiously with his cane at a point in the darkness. "You see it, Wilson?" he yelled, his tense voice reverberating through the air. I raised my dark lantern shutter, and the room slowly came into view. Sholmes was staring intently at one particular corner when he started whispering to me. The victim's most perplexing final words. The Speckled Band. I believe this is the terrible coil to which you referred, Wilson. In front of us was an enormous adder, its fangs bared as it threatened to strike. It truly was the most terrible speckled band I had ever seen.
Cool, I thought there would be a little bit more to that, but that was neat. It was nice that I didn't have to read that. I saw Sholmes, Wilson, so that's cool. Hello?
So, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder. Pray, do excuse me. The cabin door was bolted from the inside when the man was killed. No marks to suggest the bolt was tampered with in any way. So, this would appear to be a locked room mystery. In his final moments, the victim scrawled a message on the floor. Almost certainly with the ink from this upset bottle. A Russian word. So the victim was a Russian man then. And the letters are well formed, suggesting he was compos mentis at the time. This is a most extraordinary script. And evidently not penned by the same hand as this message. In fact, I deduce it was written by someone of a different nationality. This paper seal was placed just prior to the incident, by the victim himself, I would venture. Well, what have we here?
Who are you, and what do you think you're doing here?
No one must touch before maritime police come. We must wait!
Shh. That won't be necessary. You see, in less than 5 seconds from now, I will reveal the killer to you.
What? Don't be absurd. This is murder. I need cabin locked from inside.
Ah yes, the locked room. But that mystery is paper thin.
You don't mean the culprit is in there?
Who are you, and where have you come from?
I'm a great British consultant detective, the only one in the world. Herlock Sholmes. I presume you must have heard of me.
Oh. That's gonna get me every single time. That's neat. Look at that. Look at him. It is him. Ugh, my head is throbbing. What's going on? Oh, mood. Something's not right here. Is that what that said? I kind of glanced away at the very end. Wait, I can't move. Eh? Huh, what the? Why am I in handcuffs? Again? So you wake up now, hmm? Oh. We had to drag you out of the wardrobe. Oh, not again. I do not believe how you could not wake up. You are true cold-blooded man. You found me then. Da, we found you. And now you pay. Criminal. How long are you hiding in that tiny wardrobe, hmm? Sorry. Now you have been found. It is time to admit your crimes. Unless you wish to find out how cold the ocean is, da. No, I'll tell you everything. There's only one there's only one thing I'd like to know from you, isn't that? Oh, okay. Why did you do it? Why did you take his life? Miss Susato? Wait, what did you just say? Take his life? Take in. Where is he? Where is Kazuma? Ha! You pretend you do not know? You are a wolf in the sheep's pelt. You are the killer. Do not try to make excuses. Don't tell me. My boy is dead? What? Kazuma-sama's body was discovered not long. Are you kidding me? Damn it. He was hot. Here, in this very cabin that was bolted shut from the inside. His body? Please, do not try to tell us you are doing this terrible thing in your sleep. Kazuma's dead? Oh, press F, guys. That's... Oh no. What a whopper. This is a double whopper with cheese, man. That's just... No. Oh, man. But he can't be. And these handcuffs. Surely you don't think I have to know. Why did you take Kazuma-sama's life? Answer me, please. No. I was wondering how they were gonna get us in. No. Cosmo. I was wondering how they were going to get him, A, back in court, and I know he goes to London. I was wondering how they were going to do that. I didn't... My god. Damn it. It's just 2 short weeks. Are you sure about this? Won't we get in trouble? Don't you find it fun being a stowaway? Besides, how else could you come to England with me to study? It was really something else when they brought your luggage in here earlier, though. The way that Russian crewman just tossed her traveling case onto the floor. I thought I was gonna die. Yes, I still can't believe that. I really didn't think you'd be able to fit inside my trunk. Hey, topical! I just posted a video of myself in a bag, in a duffel bag earlier, a couple days ago. You must be even less of a man than you look. Hey, honestly, I thought I'd broken every bone in my body. Well, it's about 50 days until we dock in Great Britain. But if you confine yourself to my cabin here, I don't expect anyone will discover you. Ugh, I hope not. I get the feeling those Russians wouldn't be very forgiving of a stowaway. They're a sturdy bunch, that's for sure. What I want to know is, why do we need to keep it a secret from the young lady? From our faithful judicial assistant Mikotova, you mean? From your close friend, more to the point. Surely we could confide in her, couldn't we? I don't believe she'd give me away. No, but if she knew what we'd done, that would make her guilty by association. It's best that only you and I know about this. I suppose so. Anyway, it's about the time that the steward is supposed to come and clean the cabin. I know it's cramped, but you'd better get in there, I think. It won't be for long. And anyway, compared to hiding inside my traveling case, it'll be a breeze. Yes, but what if the steward decides to open the wardrobe for some reason? Then I'll be in for it. Then I'll be in for it. Stop worrying. I tell you what, why don't you write "keep out" or something on this piece of paper? What? Then I can stick it over the wardrobe doors once you're inside. I don't know. My friends did. Put me in an elevator up to the 10th floor. I got out though. I think they left me enough of a gap in the zip where I could undo it. I've only been at sea for about 15 days. When does this have happened? We're supposed to be going on this adventure to England together. We'll leave you at next port. Stay quiet until then. Don't make more trouble for yourself. Murderer. Yeah, Sodopopinski. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. No, I'm not a murderer. Ah, you said before. You said you admit everything about your crimes. No, that's not right. I mean, yes, I did stow away on this ship, but murdering my best friend? No one else could have done it. Admit the truth. Suzato-san? Please, tell me what happened. I need to know. Very well. But there is something I would like to ask of you, too. Those eyes. She looks like she's ready to destroy me. This nightmare is getting worse by the minute. I suppose all I can do is try to find out what really happened. Ah, here we go. We're in talk mode in the investigation phase. Cosmo's death. He has no style. He has no grace. He has really been killed. He really has been killed, hasn't he? This isn't just a bad dream. And these handcuffs, they think I did it? They think I'm Cosmo's killer? When they found him, the cabin was locked from the inside. This door was locked from the inside. Who would do such a thing? What do you mean? There's no access to the cabin via a porthole window, and the bolt on the door can't be operated from outside. In other words, after the crime, the culprit couldn't have escaped these four walls. What? Or to put it another way, the culprit can only have been somebody inside this cabin. Or do you have some other explanation? This is impossible. How did he die then? What happened exactly? Are you still going to deny the charge, even despite the circumstances? Please, Susato-san, you have to tell me. The cause of death is still undetermined. They don't know how he died? The ship's doctor is examining the body, but of course, he has no post-mortem analysis experience. I don't suppose we shall learn more until an expert has been consulted at our next port of call. So presumably that means there were no obvious external signs of injury then. That's true, yes. Was it more Kurari? To answer that would be to spoil other Ace Attorney games, Pangachong. Or not to spoil it, but to confirm or deny. If you choose to believe it so. Can anyone tell me what actually happened here in this cabin? I don't understand it. Why would anyone want to kill Kazuma? No, I will neither confirm nor deny that possibility as having happened. Presumably that's something you know the answer to better than... Presumably that's something you know the answer to better than anyone. Please. Whatever you say, you were here in the cabin after all. Well, yes, I was, but... He would always wake before dawn and do his training first thing in the morning. I was waiting outside his cabin, as I have every day so far on this voyage. But this morning, he did not come. I could sense that he wouldn't. Does that mean he was already dead when Susato-san arrived at his cabin door, I wonder? I knocked, but there was no reply. Then I started to become worried, so I went to find a member of the crew. The crewman forced the cabin door open. When we managed to get inside, yeah, I know the steam pop up. There was Kazuma-san, collapsed on the floor. I can't read. I can't speak Russian. What did that message say? Like, Fat Delta? Oh, whatever you're into. And the white tape there now shows exactly where he was found, I suppose. I had no idea anything had happened. Yep, the new chapter is indeed out. I must have been asleep in the wardrobe somehow. I wish it wasn't the case, but that's just very hard to believe. This is all very hard to believe for me too, trust me. Now I've told you everything that I know, so it's my turn to ask you a question. Yes, alright. My head feels so happy. It's still throbbing like anything. Stowaway. Why are you even on board this ship, Naruhodo-san? You said something before about being a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, yes. I'm afraid that's true. It's 2 weeks since we left Japan now, and I've been shut up in this cabin the entire time. I had no idea. But how could you... I had no idea. How could you have occupied Kazuma-sama's cabin so long without him noticing? No, that would have been impossible, obviously. Yes, of course. Kazuma invited me. He wanted us to go to England together, you know, gaily. Actually asked you? Out? But why? I'm afraid I don't really know the reason myself. I don't understand. Kazuma, why do you want this? What's the real reason? Why go to such extreme lengths to smuggle me to England with you? Idea that's been on my mind ever since the end of that incredible trial. I think I told you then, didn't I? That you ought to become a lawyer yourself? Well, yes, you did say that, but I didn't think you were serious. You have a talent for it. I can assure you of that. But I've never really thought about becoming a lawyer. Well, that's something you can decide for yourself. London is at the spearhead of cultural development, the center of the world in many ways. There can't be any harm in seeing such an important place with your own eyes, can there? Well, no, definitely not. But on a personal level, if you were to become a lawyer, then what? Nothing. Forget it. Kazuma-sama he was always saying the same thing, that he wanted to change the Japanese legal system. Perhaps he thought that he could do that with you. Yes, maybe. But something's still bothering me a little. The look in his eyes then, is darker than I've ever seen it before. Susato-san, I'm sorry that we kept it a secret from you, my stowing away on the ship, I mean. If I know Kazuma-sama, I expect he was trying to protect me, to avoid me becoming guilty by association. That's exactly right, yes. Word perfect, in fact. Last Friday night. If you're not the culprit, then tell me, what happened last night here in this cabin? Well, the thing is, I don't really remember. I was smashed. Kazuma brought me something to eat, just like he always did. And then I got myself into that wardrobe over there, just like I always did. For that, I fell asleep. Well, yes, just like I always did. So deeply that you didn't even stir when Kazuma-sama was killed? Well, yes. I know it sounds unbelievable. Really, I do. But it's the truth. If only I'd woken up, then perhaps I wouldn't be in this predicament. And for some reason, my head's still throbbing like anything. Really? Is something wrong? Oh, no, please, forget it. Susato-san, you have to believe me. I didn't do it. I really don't want to doubt you, but the trouble is, is no one else who could have possibly done this. Ugh. Yeah, I know, girl. I wouldn't believe me either, but Kazuma, I don't understand. Why? Why did this have to happen? Ugh. I can't take this. Don't try to go anywhere. You're the perpetrator of this crime. You can't leave. I can't allow that to happen. I'm sorry. But Kazuma was killed right under my nose here, and I didn't do anything to stop it. And now I'm supposed to sit around, my hands tied, while whoever did this walks free? No, I can't allow that to happen. Well, what do you propose to do then? I'm going to investigate. I'm going to find out exactly what happened here. I'm going to work out who took Kazuma's life, and how and why they did it. So I'm sorry, but you're going to have to excuse me. Yeah! Oh, she flipped me. What the? That was a Susato takedown. Susato what? What martial art form is that? I'm going to need you to prove it. Sorry? prove it? Yes, you're innocent. I need evidence. But how am I supposed to... Have you forgotten already what you achieved just a few weeks ago? You successfully defended yourself in a court of law. She's expecting me to present some conclusive evidence. I have to get Suzato-san to believe me. I'll show her some evidence right now that proves I'm not guilty of this awful crime. Oh. Probably this, huh?
Yes!
Yes. Tell me, when I was discovered in the wardrobe before, what was this piece of paper stuck over the doors? Oh, yes, it was. I remember clearly. I thought so. Cosmo always put it in place whenever I went to sleep in there, just in case the cabin steward or another crew member decided to look inside. So naturally, he did the same last night as well. Ah! Yes, of course. The gentleman who discovered you peeled that sign from the wardrobe doors before he opened them. But if I were truly the culprit, I couldn't have climbed back inside the wardrobe and stuck this on the outside of the doors on my own. Yes, that's quite true. In other words, it's impossible that I killed him. Well, even if you are sprawled hopelessly on the floor, I can see why Cosmo-sama thought so highly of you. Thank you, Suzato-san. Now, do you think perhaps you could help me up? Well, in the light of that evidence, I don't see any reason why I should stop you from investigating in here at least. Thank you. So you finally believe me? I'm sorry. No. What? I'm not sure yet. I can't rule out the possibility that you used some sort of conjuring trick to put the sign back in position. What does she think I am, a magician? For now, I suggest you investigate as thoroughly as possible in here. I'll do the same. Alright, let's get to work, Suzato-san. Please don't misunderstand me. I still have my doubts. Oh. I shall be watching you to make sure that you do nothing that might disturb the crime scene. I wouldn't want you using your conjuring tricks to destroy evidence, for example. Right. Alright, here we go. Well, anyway, I should make a start on investigating in here. Examine everything I can. Cosmo, I swear, I will avenge your death. God, how sad. I assume that we talked. Yep, okay. Alright, let's examine. Point and click time, baby. These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Borea. Essentially a list of requests from the captain to all passengers on board. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. What? Why are you staring at me? Oh, sorry. I was just thinking, are you more of a dangerous object or a pet? I knew that's what she was going for. I can't decide. Well, one thing's for sure. Either way, I wasn't supposed to be in here. Oh dear, that won't do. Oh, what's the matter, Suzato-san? Whenever I'm examining things, I always find myself so focused I forget to look around properly. Yes, that's not good. I don't suppose you're as foolish as me in that regard, are you, Naruhodo-san? Oh, yep, we got the panning. I'm sure you're careful to look all around using B&M, aren't you? Now, let's investigate all corners of this cabin. Yes, let's do that. Plus, my field of vision has been rather small until now. The one thing that I clicked on, okay. The books have fallen over on the shelf. Look, they've all toppled the same way. And what's this? A statue of some god of the sea? Although he's fallen over as well. Yes, it's almost as if the whole shelf has been ransacked and everything mown down at once. Mown down. I wonder if... perhaps it was Kazuma-sama doing his morning sword training, do you think? I seriously doubt it. Then perhaps... it was you, Naruhodo-san, in a fit of rage. I wouldn't have bothered leaving the wardrobe just to mess up a few books on the statue. Because the way these things have been thrown about have anything to do with the case, I wonder. Well, I'll just set everything straight again. I don't like to see a mess. Good job, Susato. Sure. That's a very large traveling case, isn't it? Yes, it carries a lot of memories for me. Memories? What do you mean? Well, that's actually how I stowed away on this vessel. I was brought on board inside that case. Ah, yes. I see it says "this way up" in Japanese. Which, in hindsight, I should have realized the foreign crewman wouldn't be able to read. I was turned over and over and over, and then I was tossed on the floor in here. Oh dear, being a stowaway isn't as romantic as it sounds. Well, it was less painful than a Susato takedown. Ink? I guess not. Hit the desk first. This is where dear Kazuma-sama would have sat whenever he was writing. Audio good, by the way, now that we're getting into the meat and potatoes of the game. Does the game need to go up? Do I need to go down? Please tell me. London Diary. He didn't even make it to his poor Cosmo, he didn't even make it to his destination. Audio's good? Cool. Looks as though the last entry is incomplete. Which means, what? He was in the middle of writing it when the incident happened? Let's see what it says. Could be a valuable clue. That's out of the question. What? Kazuma-sama may have departed this world, but you must not read his private thoughts. But what if it's something important? Something relevant to the case? Alright, I won't read it. She's great, actually. Already, I love her already. Poor Kazuma-sama. I don't like prying into people's personal matters either. In this case, isn't the need for clues more important? I'm not gonna suck on the lifesavers, they're gummy. Got a lot going on here. Okay, let's get this. Oh, let's talk to you before I forget. Perhaps I should see what this Russian crewman thinks of the scene of the crime. Excuse me? But I was wondering how it's going, the investigation. I mean, grandmother told me Japanese people do not make jokes, but it's not true, I see. Sorry? The criminal asking investigator for information about the crime? Very funny. Oh, it wasn't supposed to be a joke. He doesn't appear to be laughing either. He's convinced you're guilty. You might have useful information, though. Have to keep trying. So, last night, did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all? Niet, of course not. Now back to corner of room and make silent. Say no more to you. Did I hit a nerve? Just for a minute there. You seemed a little flustered. There's so much in this room. That's Kazuma-sama's precious sword. He never went anywhere without it. Yes, he was always saying that a Japanese man's katana is his soul. I believe he had to work very hard to convince the government to allow him to bring it on this trip. I suppose that just shows just how important it was to him. And now he's gone, but I'm not ready to let his spirit go just yet. Poor thing. I feel so bad for him. Seigi, a Japanese word for justice. The brushstrokes are straight and true, just like Kazuma. I don't know about that first one. Yes, his calligraphy was always was a reflection of his heart. Water type. Yet can you really look at those characters without feeling shame, knowing who drew them up so thoughtfully? Of course I can. I mean, I'm innocent, so why shouldn't I be able to? Even though you stowed away on this ship? Now you're gonna bring that up, are you? Now you're gonna bring that up, aren't you? I can't win. Yeah, you never can, poor Ryu. There's nothing on this table at all. The plate and cutlery are all over the floor for some reason. Yes, it's strange. Last night when I went to sleep, I'm sure everything was still. No, wait a minute. What is it? That's funny. I can't seem to remember anything about what happened after dinner at all. So then perhaps you are responsible for what happened to Kazuma-sama. No. That's my dinner from last night, a roast chicken. It was really tasty. Yes, it was very delicious, wasn't it? But did you eat it on the floor here? I'm not a dog, Susato-san. I ate it at the table, of course. Which begs the question of when and how the plate ended up on the floor. But Kazuma-sama didn't like chicken at all, did he? No, that's right. So he didn't touch it. Which meant all the more for me. Oh no. Does that mean poor Kazuma-sama spent his last night on this earth with an empty belly? Oh, it's just too horrible. Ugh, now I suddenly have a guilty conscience and an achy stomach. Yes, we're looking at everything. I don't care. What do you think this is? It looks like a broken piece of glassware. Whatever the thing was, it appears to have broken clean in two. Looks like a bell. The glass is such a beautiful color. It looks like a cute little Netsuke fastener from a kimono outfit. Okay. I'm not sure, that sounds like Kazuma. He wouldn't have secretly carried a cute little trinket like this around with him, would he? Well, there's nothing wrong with that. And the mark beside it. What is it, I wonder? Sort of a brick-like hue. Yes, you're right. It is the color of brick, isn't it? Even though I don't see anything of the same color anywhere else in the cabin. Did Kazuma write that before he died? It looks like it's written in ink. He must have knocked the ink pot from his desk when he collapsed on the floor. Then I suppose he wrote this message by dipping his finger in the spillage. Poor Kazuma-sama. No doubt he was in terrible pain. It's almost unbearable to imagine it. I suppose he was trying to leave some kind of a clue in his final moments, was he? I'm sorry, partner, but I can't read your writing. I don't think that's Japanese, Naruto. What? Then what language is— oh my god. It pains me to admit it, but I don't know. It's not a foreign script I'm familiar with. What does it mean, I wonder? Is that everything? I think, yeah. Oh, the door. When I went for help and the crewman forced the door open, this bolt had been firmly closed. It's quite a small bolt, not particularly sturdy, and it just slides across to secure the door shut. But still, with the door bolted, there would be no way to get in or out of the cabin, that's for sure. It's no wonder everyone suspects me. When she glares at me like that, I feel tense all up and down my spine. I remember reading once in a detective novel, the culprit used a needle and thread to draw a bolt across from outside the room in a situation like this. Yes, that's a clever trick, isn't it? I'm an avid reader of detective stories myself. But the door of this cabinet and its frame are made from metal, and they seal together perfectly. There would be no possibility of using that needle and thread trick here, I'm afraid. When she glares at me like that, I feel pins and needles all up and down my spine. God, she's great. Get the bed here. Oh, this thing, this is, yes, it's a bell cord contraption, I think. What do you mean? Contraption? I read about it in a book I was studying that talked about life in Great Britain. Large households often have bell cords like this, which you can pull to ring a bell to summon servants. Really? That sounds almost magical. Shall we give it a little try? Yes! In the interest of cultural research, obviously. I didn't expect that to do something. Hey Blue, how you doing? I suppose nobody comes for lowly Japanese people. No, I'm sure it's just that everyone is busy, that's all. Oh, that's what it was. Oh, really? Huh. I thought for sure it was the bed. Oh look, the vent. Well, I'll do this first. I'll do the vent first, because I think that's important. I think that's some kind of opening for a ventilator. A hole through which fresh air can circulate into the cabin. Isn't that a little odd? Well, we just started and I'm already sad. I'm very sad. So that is it. It's already kind of rough. A little odd. What do you mean? The friend got murdered. Mm-hmm. Our boyfriend is gone. Well, this ventilator, if that's what it is. Looks like it must connect to the next door cabin. I am glad they explained it, like, unironically, because, like, it makes sense within this world for that not to be a familiar thing to him. Looks like it must connect to the next door cabin. Yes, it would appear to, you're right. But if its purpose is to allow fresh air into the room, surely it should be connected to the outside. Yeah, they pulled a Mia. That's true. Perhaps it's so that rain and spray don't find their way in when seas are rough? Or something like that? I suppose. Maybe that's it. Oh god, Herlock, what are you doing here? What are you doing? Wanted to check the wardrobe, but now you're here. As far as I can tell, he looks like he might be European. Is he gay or European? Oh. How did he... You've noticed the man too, have you? I have no idea who he is or how he got in here, but he looks suspicious and tall. Suspiciously tall. Don't tell me. Do you really not know who that is? Well, no. I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. He doesn't look like a member of the crew. There's something very unusual about him. Is he investigating Cosmo's desk, or is he just playing on it? I can't tell. Well, in that case, we simply must talk with him. Am I just imagining it, or does Susato-san look almost uncontrollably excited? By the way, I expect that you've noticed already, but just in case, if you press space on people when they're in the crosshairs, you can converse with them. Alright, then. I'll get this suspiciously tall gentleman in my sights and see what he has to say for himself. Oh, please do. Okay, I want to click the wardrobe, though. It's 2 weeks since we set sail from Japan. Have you really been living in that wardrobe the entire time, Naruhodo-san? I think living isn't quite the right description. Oh, no, I suppose not. Although it must have been rather exciting making this voyage in your own secret hideout. The trouble was, I never knew when a member of the crew might come in. So yes, I did basically have to live in the wardrobe. And last night was no exception. But because of that, you had no idea what was happening out here in the cabin. No, sadly not. Oh, okay. Excuse me? Excuse me, do you have a moment? Shh! This is a critical point in my investigation. Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. Yes, perhaps that would be for the best. Greetings, I hope I haven't kept you busy. Ah! What exactly were you doing on Cosmo's desk just now? Ah, I see. Fascinating. Sorry, what do you see? Feels like he's looking right through me. Oh yes. Everything is clear now. Zvari. I can't do accent. The train of reasoning has run its course. My deductions have crystallized. You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Just recently returned, if I'm not mistaken. Oh man, topical. Sorry, what? And now, whilst venturing towards foreign climes, you find yourself in a most troubling predicament. Oh, well, that's true at least. But how? How the deuce did I know that, perhaps? It was really a most elementary deduction, hardly worth explaining. Yes, those are goggles. God, he's kind of fun. Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else? But of course, a great many things. There is no mystery, my dear madam. For example, you have fled your native land of Russia, being as you are a merciless revolutionary. I don't know about that, Lil. Maybe it's the chin? You leave 16 victims of assassination in your wake and now travel to England to blow up the Crystal Tower. And when the beribboned occupant of this very cabin discovered your identity, you ended his life too. Yes, I believe that summarizes the facts beautifully. No need to hide the truth now. Nothing deceives these eyes. Just to be clear, you are talking about me, aren't you? Certainly I am. Do you see another in this cabin who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name? I don't even see one person who fits the bill. So it's true. It was you who did this to Kazuma-sama. What? And you're plotting revolution too? It's shameful behavior, Naruhodo-san. Absolutely wicked. No, listen, there's no way I like that. It's funny. Now explain yourself. Tell me everything. This is ridiculous. How could you do it? For pity's sake, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary, obviously. I don't even sound... Do I sound like this? Do I sound like I am a Russian revolutionary? Oh, forgive me. And as for you, what kind of deduction was that? You were just saying the first thing that came into your head. Ah, but was I not right? Whilst venturing towards foreign climes, you do find yourself in a most troubling predicament. Do you not? That was the only part you got right, dude. Well, yes, maybe. Ah, there you have it, you see. What do you make of that, hmm? Well, to be honest, this ship is en route to England, and I'm in handcuffs at the scene of a murder. So, I'm not really sure you could call it deduction. It's more plain observation. Indeed, and observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My method is founded upon the observation of trifles, you see. I announce my findings with a brassy certitude, and more often than not, I'm right. I don't think you introduced yourself. Ah, my apologies. How remiss of me. I am none other than the greatest detective of the century, known to men and women the world over. The inimitable Sherlock Sholmes. Oh, he's so cute. Yeah. Very cute. So it's really you, the actual Sherlock Sholmes? The very same. The inimitable actual Sherlock Sholmes. Do you know this man, Susato-san? The most famous detective in the world? Naruhodo-san. Of course I do. There's nobody who hasn't heard of him. Well, you're looking at one. What planet have I been living on, then? We must ask him what he's deduced. He will have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure. Really? Why do I feel uneasy about this? God, your music. I think that's your music. Sounds good, dude. Great detective. So, you're a great detective, are you? Sorry, what was your name again? Indeed, I am none other than the one and only Sherlock Sholmes. Oh, I see. You're German? Herlock, was it? No. I have no hair. I mean, I have hair. Please, call me Sholmes. Oh, I didn't. You can read all about my exploits in this exciting London publication. Oh yes, Ranst magazine. Ranst? Full of wonderful short stories and interest articles are great from Great Britain. I never miss an issue. I have it sent from England especially. Yes, here it is. The Adventures of Sherlock Sholmes. So, you're the protagonist in a series of short stories, then? Indeed I am. And you've read so many of your own stories you've started to think you really are a detective? Make no mistake, I'm not the poor deluded fellow you take me for. Your inference is backward. Backward? My trusty biographer records my greatest detecting achievements and chronicles them in a magazine. You have a biographer, do you? Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name of Dr. Wilson, presently keeping shop in London. Dr. Wilson? I must say, thanks to that publication, I've been fantastically busy as of late. Why, this very moment I'm returning from Asia, having solved the mystery of a cursed royal crown. Really? I can't work out whether I should take this man seriously or not. Deduction, you see, is to me a science, logical reasoning in its purest form. A science? Really? The astute observer notices even the most subtle of reactions in his subject. A furtive glance, a twitch of a muscle, a slight inclination of posture. Fingernails, arm sleeves, furrows in the skin, all these things are data. Right. And the trained logician makes deductions from this data in the blink of an eye. The ultimate conclusion is, without fail, the truth. As I demonstrated only a few short moments ago. How can he look me in the eye and claim that? So you see, I have returned both for observation and for deduction, and for aim. That is what makes me the one and only Sherlock Sholmes. Dear Lord, I love him. I love him so much. Have you managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet? Have I managed to deduce anything, my dear fellow? Who do you suppose discovered the culprit in his most cunning hiding place? That's right. It's none other than the great detective before you now, Mr. Sherlock Sholmes. Ah, I see. In other words, I'm in these now because of him. When I became anxious about Cosmo-sama this morning, I summoned all of the crew members to force the cabin door open. And I concealed myself among their number, gaining entry to the scene of the crime. Yes, luckily for everyone, the great detective, Sherlock Holmes, was on board. And the handcuffs seem to be an excellent fit, Mr. Naruhodo. Ugh. The very moment I laid eyes on the scene, two facts were immediately apparent to me. Oh really? Two facts, you say? Oh lord, more stuff. Mr. Sholmes, tell us please, what two facts were apparent to you when you came into this cabin this morning? Ah yes, but first, let us be precise. The two facts in question were immediately apparent to me, you know. Yes, I understand. But what were they? Allow me to elucidate. The two facts that I deduced from a mere momentary glance at the scene of the crime were as follows. Number one, the cabin was locked from within, rendering escape of the culprit out of the question. Number two, even though I'm holding up one finger, the victim was Russian and killed following a dispute with an acquaintance. Oh, because... Hold on, Mr. Schultz, what made you think the victim was Russian? Observe the dying message left by the victim on the floor. Pap Delta E Pop. That is the Russian word for wardrobe. Do you really think Kazuma-sama could have left a dying message in Russian? In their final moments, many find their native tongue filling their head. For this young man, Russian. Kazuma was Russian, was he? Oh, come now. Initially, I considered Gardner would be the name of the killer. Certain Robert Gard, perhaps. But in the interest of thoroughness, I decided it would be wrong to not look inside the wardrobe there at least. Where you found Mr. Naruhodo sleeping soundly. Oh, where you found Mr. Naruhodo sleeping soundly? Quite so, I found you, the renowned Russian revolutionary killer. Why is it that I'm Russian too? I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In other words, you were acquainted. And if my memory serves, that outfit is the traditional dress of the Russian people. Our school uniform is the traditional dress of the Russian people? I had no idea. And I had no idea a detective did something so wrong. I took a photograph of the victim and the message that I might analyze it for possible hidden details. This was taken immediately after the young man was discovered, before the body was removed. Yes, Kazuma had already been taken away when I woke up. This is the first time I've actually seen him like this. Poor guy. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes, thank you. The photograph of the crime scene now has been entered into the program. Cool. Can I ask you something, Mr. Films? What, right? You mentioned Russia before as well, didn't you? You know, when you said I was a fearsome revolutionary fleeing from Russia and all that. Ah yes, the train of reasoning that led me to the truth. Would you mind explaining that train of reasoning to me, do you think? I don't know how to say that. Certainly, if it interests you. How many times? I'm not Russian, and I don't speak Russian. Okay, sure. Can we talk about your deduction report? The things you concluded about me, I mean... Ah, the now famously accurate, troubling predicament you find yourself in? Actually, it was the other details that I was more hoping to discuss. You know, the merciless Russian revolutionary assassin of 16 part. Ah yes, the more sordid details. It was a fairly commonplace deduction. Here we have this morning's paper. The main headline reads... Oh lord. Revolutionary villain Bolshevik. Oh my god. Please Russia, via Shanghai. The vessel made fourth call at Shanghai yesterday, and last night the young Russian was murdered. Since when was Cosmo Russian? It sounds like Mr. Schultz concluded that he was Russian because of what Mr. Cosmosaur put on the floor. It was a simple act of reasoning to realize the culprit of this crime was the same merciless revolutionary. One who had killed the very man who helped him to escape after his true identity was discovered. Yes, you, villain Bolshevik. No. How could it be me? I don't look anything like this man. Just look at his face. Well, you are a fearsome revolutionary after all. Therefore, you have no doubt learned to revolutionize your appearance as well. Oh, please. And, might I add, your name does not appear on the ship's passenger list. Need I say more? Well, that's because I'm a stowaway. What about the other details? The 16 victims of the assassination and blowing up the Crystal Tower? Ah yes, the journalists clearly interviewed the man and printed all those particulars in the article. The deeds the man has perpetrated thus far and those he is plotting. Yes, everything about this revolutionary Bolshevik was included. There could be no mistake. Do revolutionaries usually agree to interviews with newspaper reporters, I wonder? And what about the part where you said I was just returning from Afghanistan? Also quite clearly states here in the article. Bolshevik has recently returned after a period of subversive activities in the war-torn region of Afghanistan. Where even is it anyway? This Afghanistan place. Here, take the paper for yourself, as a little memento of this great deduction. Oh, thank you. I've absorbed all that is of interest to me within its pages, but I see no rubbish bin nearby. Oh, how sweet of you. And you may find the article on the back page of interest as well. On the back? Cast your eye over it sometimes if the interest takes you, though you may need someone to interpret. It's all written in Russian. I couldn't hope to read it. I suppose it wouldn't hurt to just glance at the article. Maybe then there might be a picture or two. Sure. Let's look at this too. Oh, my honey. Oh, my love interest is... Well, the love interest I have is still very much here. Okay. This is interesting. Have you found something relevant, Naruto-san? Well, no, I mean, it looks like it might be interesting. I can't read a single word, I'm afraid. No, nor can I, but look at this picture. Perhaps it's about a beautiful young Russian princess, do you think? She is very pretty, isn't she? I suppose you enjoy articles like this, do you? I don't know. I can't make any sense of it. Ah, I'm glad you've noticed this article. Ah! Allow me to give you a short summary of its contents. Oh, thank you. He pops up everywhere, this Mr. Scholes. About the disappearance of a young lady last night. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. During a performance in Shanghai, the famous dancer was reported missing. It is, of course, the talented young Nikolina Pavlova. Why are Russian names so hard to remember? It would appear the woman was in costume when it would appear the woman was in costume when she was found to be missing from her dressing room, wearing the diamond tiara you see pictured, which is worth some 20,000 rubles. Oh, how much is 20,000 rubles? I have no idea, but I'm quite sure it must be an unbelievable sum of money. Uzato-san's eyes are shining like diamonds themselves. The tiara is the property of the Novovich Ballet. It would seem the director is beside herself with worry. Yes, I'm not surprised. The company is most anxious to recover. Both Miss Pavlova and the valuable tiara. They've requested international assistance at all ports with sailings to Great Britain. Could this be another case of a Russian fleeing his or her country? Does seem to be the Russian thing to do. I'm not even going to dignify that with a response, Mr. Naruhodo. I take it this would be the exact same thing again. Let me see. Any of the other pictures here? No. Let's look at Villain Bolshevik. I'm afraid I can't read a word of Russian. No, me neither. I have no idea what any of this says. A pair of you floundering is a sorry sight. Allow me to offer some assistance. The article on the front page of this newspaper is concerned with a fearsome Russian revolutionary. It reads, Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. Yes, you told us that before. It reveals also that those who see the man's beard with their own eyes never live to tell the tale. Oh my goodness, he is fearsome. Well, presumably the newspaper was alright, wasn't he? The solution is obvious, of course. If he despises his beard to that degree, he need only shave it off. I'm not quite sure that's the problem, Mr. Sholmes. I love Herlock so much, he's so good. What you were just investigating? Before we started talking, you were examining Kazuma's desk, weren't you? Kazuma? Ah yes, the victim. Kazuma. Did you notice anything useful? Anything at all? Observe for a moment the desktop of the victim. He had Stardew Valley on it, and Call of Duty Warzone. We see that the victim was engaged in penning some text on his Discord server. London Diary. Kazuma was keeping notes of the trip. But I don't think you should read his private writings. It could upset people. Tragic, and something you ought to perform, perhaps elucidate before the act of reading. You mean you've read it already? It is my business to do what other people do not. Yes, believe it or not, I know a smattering of Japanese. No, they talked about this before, Blue. Even Susato insisted that even though he was dead, it was wrong to read. Oh, I see. Well, you're about to know what a Susato takedown is. Susato-san, aren't you going to throw the detective with one of your trademark takedowns? I'm sorry, Naruhodo-san. What on earth do you mean? Life is so unfair. Yeah. And now, back to the matter at hand. What do you say? Are you back in the man? Well, maybe if I can find my old leather. Dude, we're getting the band back together. Anyway, to return the matter at hand. Namely, this diary belonged to the victim. It would appear that the final sentence is incomplete, as if the author will cut short. Tell me, what is the nature of this writing? May be precise as to the details. Oh, but I thought you knew Japanese. A smattering, dear. A smattering, dear boy, a smattering. Sayonara, bonsai, mitado, nado. I trust you're easily impressed. But this diary is littered with complicated-looking characters, of which I can read precisely none. So what was all that showing off before then? If you would be so kind as to show me, I would be happy to read it to you, Mr. Sholmes. I'm much obliged, my dear madam. The final entry in here is Kazuma-sama's diary. It consists of just two short sentences. The first reads, 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. Whistling sound? These are very deep waters. Pray, go on. The second sentence reads, 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Oh. A speckled band? What on earth does that mean? I have no idea. I've never heard that expression before. I would, honestly. Like, here's the thing, right? A lot of journaling apps actually do keep, as far as I'm aware, a lot of the journaling apps that do exist right now do keep track of the time for you. I would absolutely keep track of my thoughts by the time. Ventilator grill, you say? Then the man was presumably referring. to the lattice there on the wall, which connects to the adjoining cabin. Yes, the adjoining cabin. Cool. Investigation over? Well, for this room, anyway. So I believe I've given you enough to consider for the time being, at least. Ah, do you have somewhere else to go? As it happens, the victim's writing in his diary have piqued my interest. Kinda doesn't have to be exact, but as long as it's in the ballpark, doesn't matter. If there was a delay between your first thought and your second thought, I would want to I would want to separate entries by time. The matter warrants further investigation, I believe, and if I am still too long, the C6 takes hold. Oh, he's seasick. Well, I suppose you're thinking of investigating the cabin next door, which the ventilator connects to? Great detectives are a curious breed. Our minds rebel at stagnation. We crave mental exaltation. So yes, I intend to investigate. Hence, the truth will become clear soon enough. Do you think perhaps that we could go with you? No, that would be somewhat complicated. What? Why? A simple glance at your wrist would reveal the answer. Oh, these... After all, you're the prime suspect in this matter, no? There's no point in trying to turn it into a question. You're the one who decided I was the culprit in the first place. Whatever do you mean? I have no recollection of naming you as the culprit at any point. You must be joking. You just said it only a moment ago. Dear me, you are clearly misguided. I would have no cause to say such a thing. Well, actually, Mr. Sholmes, I did hear you say that too. You're quite sure? Well, that's very strange. I wouldn't have said you had the face of a criminal, you know. Not really. So what, were you looking at my knees before? Some great detective you are. Well, anyway, that was then and this is now. What do you mean? What I mean, sir, is this. If you are the culprit, then you must pay the pot most convincingly. Roll over and accept your fate. Now he's just being plain rude. And off he goes, having just laughed in my face. His sense of humor is as twisted as his name. Naruhodo-san, what are you just standing there for? We must go and investigate the cabin next door as well. Are you forgetting something? What about these? Did she break them off? After Kazuma-sama spent his dying moments struggling to leave Seclude, you're willing to give up? You're just gonna roll over and accept your fate? Ugh. If you gave me any choice in the rolling over part. What is that, my 4th takedown so far? I think we still have some investigation to finish off in here first, don't we? Let's carry on examining what we can in this cabin while we wait for a chance to slip next door. Good idea. Situation doesn't look good for me, but there's still things I can do to help myself. And I owe it to Kazuma to do everything I can to find a way out of this and bring the real culprit to justice. Is that something wrong out of this one? Oh, no, it's just that crewman standing by the door. I can't help feeling like I've seen him somewhere before. Is it Villain Bolshevik? Excuse me, sir? Oh, wait a minute. Yes, what can I do for— oh my god. I recognize that face, but it can't be. It is. I didn't know you were here, Inspector Hosonaten. Hello again. What are you doing here? I think that should be my line. I was so stunned when I saw you. My heart stopped. Why is he here? Really stopped. I hope. I received some special orders to go undercover as a member of the crew and board of the ship. And board the ship. Again? You certainly seem to enjoy undercover work, Inspector. If there's anything I can do to help you, please ask. I can't remember the voice I gave him. Never expected to see this man on board, but perhaps his presence can help me out in this hopeless situation. Out of this hopeless situation. Alright, here we go. Special orders. Special order! So what are your special orders this time, Inspector? Yes, and why are you dressed as a member of the crew? He looks so weird as a sailor. I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. I take full responsibility. For what? For what? My orders were to act as Asogi-san's bodyguard. It was Minister of Justice, Jikoku, who pushed for this overseas study toward a goal. And he entrusted me with ensuring that Asogi-san reached Great Britain without being assassinated. Assassinated? How? How could that have even been a possibility? I'm not sure. But these are complicated times. There are tensions between the world's greatest powers. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Whoops. Minister Jikoku said that we should be prepared for all eventualities. This is incredible. I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama was assassinated? Obviously, we couldn't give Asogi-san a visible security escort. Which is why I'm undercover now, looking at my hand like Nagito. Posing as one of the crew. I see. And I didn't take my eyes off him the entire time we've been on board. From morning until night, every day. But I never imagined... Well, if you didn't take your eyes off him, how you die, dude? I never would imagine it would happen here, inside of... Oh, in his own cabin. Not here on the first class deck. I failed miserably at my assignment, and Asogi-san is dead as a result. I'm a disgrace. All I can do is humbly apologize. Inspector. So if there's anything at all that I can do to help now, just say the word. God. We're doing what we can to investigate Kazuma's death ourselves. I thought you might be. You didn't do it, did you? You're not the killer? Of course not. We'd really like to investigate the cabin next door. Yes, we need to be let out of this cabin. I'm sorry. What? You've been deemed a risk to the ship's safety. If you move to even touch the handle of the cabin door. That stormy-looking seaman there would surely snap your neck in two. I suppose. I'm not just a stowaway now. They think I'm a murderer as well. Would it be possible to give me something to work with, do you think? I'm going to need something persuasive. What do you mean? If I had a solid reason why the next door cabin should be investigated, for example, I'd do everything I could to persuade the captain to allow it. Really, I'd lay my life on the line if I had to. But I don't see how. There may be a way. What? Really? Think of how you tried to persuade me of your innocence, Naruhodo-san. By presenting me with a piece of evidence that you already had in your possession. Evidence? Just the same as when you were in court. You must have done it many times during your trial. Simply select the present panel and choose some evidence. And evidence that Inspector Hosonaga could use. So evidence that would give us a viable reason to investigate the next door cabin, is it? Alright, yes. I think I might know what we can use. If I can yeah. Am I gonna pretend to be... Am I gonna say that villain Bolshevik might be next door? That's my first thought. Let's see if that's the case. R for present. Can I show you this newspaper, Inspector? I'm sorry, but I can't read Russian very well. Oh no, that's alright. I know what it says. So you just wanted to point out your university-level linguistic talents, is that it? Sorry? Nothing like me with my regular schooling. You're something much greater. Is that what you were trying to say? Sorry, forget I mentioned it. I guess not. Oh right, the Speckled Band. Oops. Kazuma's diary. Just before he died, Kazuma-sama wrote something rather strange in his diary. Strange? In what way? He wrote, from what looks like some kind of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? That is strange. Yes, we're still trying to work out what he meant by that. But what I'd like to know is... Don't tell me. The ventilator, is it? You're very astute, Inspector. That ventilator clearly points to the next door cabin. That's right, so if we can investigate in there, we might be able to work out what the speckled band was. Alright then. I can't leave this cabin at the moment. I'm stuck here until we arrive at the next port. The captain's given me strict orders to guard the scene of the crime scene. I'll have to entrust the investigation to you. Really? You're willing to do that? Yes. As long as you don't leave the first-class cabin area. I'm afraid I can't remove those handcuffs, though. But what about the captain? Aren't you going against his direct orders? I'm a man of my word. And I promise you that I'll lay my life on the line if that's what it takes to convince the captain. After all, I failed to keep Asobi-san safe. This is the least I can do. Let's seize the moment then, Naruhodo-san. Just select move and we can... Yeah. Move, alright. I like the way you move. I like the way you move. January 9th, 7:48 a.m. SS Boria. Last cabin passageway. Phew, finally out of that cabin. I have to admit, this isn't quite what I was expecting. Less spacious out here than I thought it would be, and this is the most luxurious accommodation. Yes, indeed. Kazuma-sama was being sent on a study tour by the government. That's why he was being put up in a first-class cabin. Even still, this is about twice as large as my accommodation in steerage. Really? That must be awful. Oh, look over there. That's another crewman keeping watch, and he looks enormous, even if he's sitting down. The door next to him leads to the second-class accommodation. Suppose he's making sure that no one comes in here who shouldn't. Suppose. Like people in handcuffs? Naruhodo-san, you look like a little boy visiting a toy shop for the first time. I would have thought you'd be used to the shit by now. We've been at sea for 2 weeks already. Well, yes, I know, but the thing is, I was inside Kazuma's trunk when I first came over. And ever since then, I've been shut up inside that little wardrobe. It must have been a very trying time for you. Please don't give me that pitying look. That's a huge book on top of the table. And there's a pen next to it. Yes, that looks like the ship's log. Do I have a little look through it? Look through it? The writing is so neat and precise. Every detail about the voyage has been meticulously recorded. Hi, Lucas. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. You wouldn't expect a rough and ready sailor to have such beautiful handwriting. And nothing. No reaction at all. I thought he might appreciate the compliment. I'm not sure rough and ready is much of a compliment, Naruhodo-san. Even to a sailor. Oh, happy birthday! Happy birthday from all of us to you. We wish it was our birthday so we could party too. Hey! I hope you've had a great day. Oh, you were just watching the stream with Tiggs. Nice. I hope that was good. Was lurking for a while. Anyway, last night's lock is mostly blank. Presumably that means there was nothing to report. Excuse me. Excuse me, but... I am most concerned with the well-being of the princess in this dreadful heat. Master Mario, if you would, cross over to that shore and find some assistance. Excuse me, but could I ask you something? You little stowaway murderer. That wasn't a good start, was it? Alright, let me try instead. Good day, Mr. Sailor. I'm so sorry to trouble you. Could I please perhaps ask something of you? You little third-class lady's maid? Oh, we seem to have caught the sailor on a bad day, Susato-san. I am not sailor. My mother gave me name. I am senior crewman. Beef stroganoff. I am senior crewman. Beef stroganoff. The best thing is just to avoid eye contact, I think. Mr. Stroganoff, about this first-class cabin area. Here we are in the finest part of Burya steamship for very important persons. What sort of very important persons? Government officials, kings and queens traveling in secret, many important persons. That is why I am always guarding this place. Gosh, that's amazing. But somehow I let stupid stowaway inside. I want to pick you up and throw you in ocean, but Stroganoff is not animal. Thank you. If I may, I was wondering, is the cabin next to Mr. Asugi's currently occupied? What is that, da? Sato-san, did you understand that? It sounded like da. Oh, cool. It sounded like da. I think it's probably Russian for yes. Or no. Genius. It is not permitted to visit other cabins without invitation. Well, it sounds like there is somebody in the next door cabin at least. Yes, it's tantalizing. Could you tell us who's traveling in the cabin next to Mr. Asugi's? His name is Mr. Grimes B. Roylott. He is very important, a Western gentleman. A Western gentleman? Do not think about it. He has nothing to do with murder of student boy. How can you be so sure about that? Mr. Roylott is authentic Western gentleman. Such a man would have no interest in lowly students from insignificant Far East islands. That was harsh and racist. Did you tell us when Mr. Roylott came on board? That is not your business. Come to think of it, even though we've been at sea for 2 weeks now, I've been in Cosmo's cabin the entire time. I've never once heard anything from the next door cabin, or even felt like there's anyone there. Well, presumably, since this gentleman's occupying one of the first-class cabins, he must be rather important. Is that right? That is not your business. Mm-hmm. Are you on watch here all the time, Seaman Stroganoff? Duh, all time. So criminals like you cannot come in or get out. I wonder, could you tell us anything about last night at all? It is sad about Student Boy. Were you on watch last night as well? Of course. Did you notice anything at the time? Anything unusual? Urgh. It. I don't know what that says. Is that the sound? Did you understand that? Clearly a no. Oh, it must have been yet. I saw nothing unusual. Nothing at all. You didn't hear any strange noises? Or sense anything was wrong in some way? I said that. I said no. Sorry. I'm not so sure. I could have sworn that he wouldn't catch my eye for a moment there. This is enough. I cannot say more now. Oh, it is time for me to report to Captain. You must return to cabin. Yes, alright. Bulkhead to second class area staying locked at all times. You escape when the lobster whistles on top of the moon. Or, as English say, when pigs fly. Yes, I understand. Good. Now we can investigate this area properly, shall we? Definitely. Haha. That's the way to second-class area of the ship. Is something wrong? I was thinking about making a run for it. Just for a moment. Things aren't exactly going well for me. I might be wrong, but I imagine the moment you reach for the handle of the door, that burly seaman would surely shoot you dead. Oh dear. I'm sorry. Perhaps I went a little too far there. No, I started it with my talk of running away. There's no way I could run away while Cosmo's death remains a mystery anyway. That book on top of the table there really is huge. There's a pen with it too. Now I was thinking the same thing, Blue, actually. I was thinking the exact same thing. That book on top of the table is... I read that. Yes, I'm sure that's the ship's log. Anyway, look here. I wanted to see it again. It changed, so... like a plan of the SS Buder. Shows each deck, look. The Buder is a large-scale steamship with a triple skin hull. What a marvel of engineering. It's been playing on my mind now for a while, actually, but how is it that such a huge lump of metal doesn't just sink to the bottom of the ocean? Oh, that's really quite simple, Naruto-san. It's called buoyancy. It is? Well, consider the Japanese archipelago. The islands of Japan? Yes, they're not metal, but they're enormous lumps of earth many, many times larger than this ship. And they don't sink, do they? They've been floating happily on the sea since the gods created them. Well, I suppose so. Well, I guess she's got me there. Okay, this is it. This is the cabin next to ours. The one that the ventilator connects to. Yes, the ventilator from which Kazuma-san wrote that he saw a speckled band emerging. Maybe whoever's in this cabin can help solve that particular mystery. Let's ask. Knock, knock. Who's there? Sholmes. Sholmes who? I don't know. No answer. We're out of luck, it seems. There's no one here in there to help with our inquiries. How annoying. What do you think this is? Very pleasing shape, isn't it? That's the emergency alarm. Probably best not to touch it. Oh, an alarm. Let's press only in times of emergency. Looks as though it sets alarm bells ringing all over the ship and brings the vessel to a complete stop. Oh, this I have to do. What are you doing, Naruto-san? You mustn't touch it. This is an emergency situation. Just look at these handcuffs. You know full well it's not what the alarm is for. If you were to bring this vessel to a standstill for no good reason, it would be an even worse situation. I wish everything would just stop, the ship included. To do something foolish, at least make it something that doesn't affect anyone else. Good advice. Ah! What was that? Came from inside the cabin. Such a high-pitched scream. Oh boy, I wasn't doing it. Stand aside. Stand aside. I'm about to break the door down. Mr. Sholmes, I shan't be stopped. When the fit is on me, I revel in kicking doors off the hinge. Please, wait, Mr. Sholmes. The door doesn't appear to be bolted. It doesn't? And how the deuce can I dispatch this muscular urge? What, pray, can I kick? I think we should go in. There's no time to think about stress relief. It's gonna kick me. Who's it gonna be? The lady from before? No chance. Not a damn chance, right? Oh look! Who are you? A Western gentleman? This man looks Russian to me. We heard a woman scream. A woman? Don't be absurd. As you can see, there's nobody but me in this cabin. True, this old man does appear to be the only person in here. But in that case, who just screamed? Get out, all of you, now! Please excuse the intrusion, but you're Mr. Grimesby Roylott. Leave. Yes, that's me. And you are. I guess I should probably give him a British accent, if he's pretending to be a Western gentleman. Because I think he's Russian, but... Yes, that's me. And you are. I am the one and only, the actual Sherlock Holmes. You've heard of me, no doubt. No. I'm a great detective among great detectives. One who adorns the covers of popular magazines, no less. So I assure you, you may trust me completely. The man uses that magazine like a business card. A detective? I do not trust detectives. We distinctly heard a scream emanating from within these walls. But there wouldn't appear to be a lady concealing herself within the wardrobe this time. This bag right there. So might I be so bold as to ask you to open that small traveling case? What? Don't be stupid. How could anyone fit in a small trunk like that? Well, it's quite fashionable these days, is it not? Not traveling inside one's trunk. Don't look at me. Are you... what? Oh my... Did you see that, Mr. Navi? Yes, the case just shook. Leave, now, otherwise I'll call the steward. This is Cosmo's neighbor, Mr. Graduate Royal. There's a snake in that bag. There's no doubt about it. This strange Russian man is hiding something. I guess he's not really putting on an accent. I don't know what to do. I couldn't agree more. Let's see if we can find some clues before that burly sailor returns. Oh, we're just gonna... okay. What are you doing in there, bud? Do you have a moment, please, Mr. Sholmes? You need only address me as Sholmes. That's what I just did, isn't it? Well, Mr. Sholmes, what were you doing in there? Why, I was resting, of course. I love this dude. So good. Resting, indeed. I was contemplating our sea voyage on the confines of the wardrobe whilst waiting for the inevitable time that you would need to call my great powers of detection into service. Oh, and it would seem that the hour is upon us now. Time has come. Am I mistaken? Well, no, actually, you're spot on for once. Observe closely. Our Russian host in this cabin, Mr. Roylott, is clearly trying to hide something. And do you know what the most effective weapon is to use against a Russian hiding a secret? Why? Why? The truth, of course, though it should be pointed out that such methods are not exclusively for the Russians. Right. Can you imagine how the Russian will react when the secret he guards so closely is exposed? Would you like to witness it? Oh, yes, please! I bet you anything. Okay, so this is probably extremely obvious, but I'm still gonna throw it out there because I want to. If I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. This is the dude, a villain Bolshevik, and I think the woman who screamed was Pavlova, the ballerina girl. Well, I am about to apply my the great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case. Great. Could this man be a more hackneyed portrayal of a dubious Russian, I ask you? What? What? From time to time it occurs to me. Is that the fellow dubious on account of his Russianness? Or Russian on account of his dubiousness? Oh my god. I really don't think either of those things should be occurring to you or anyone. That's right, and Mr. Sholmes? I know this man's beard and dark glasses are hard to ignore, especially on first meeting, but I once read, it is a capital mistake to theorize before you have all the evidence. It biases the judgment. Shh! I must have complete silence. What are you doing? Why are you peering at my face like that? Ah, just as I thought. Yes, I quite made up my claim. No, whatever. There can be no other explanation that accommodates all the facts. Mr. Roylott, I've reached two uncontrovertible conclusions. What do you mean? What? Number one, your true identity is that of a villain. Using those shears, you are about to end the existence of something most dear. Are you not? Huh? Oh. And number two, the other conclusion I've drawn, you are, at this very moment, in the midst of committing a most grievous crime. Beneath that beard, your mouth quivers with nervous tension as you realize you have been discovered. Does it not? Ah! Oh, not a Hoodle-san. I never imagined I would witness one of Mr. Sholmes' great deductions with my own eyes. That was a great deduction. Nothing can deceive Mr. Sholmes. In a single glance, he can deduce all there is to know about a person. What? What ineffable twaddle. Oh yes, I've read about it countless times in the adventures of Herlock Sholmes. Now I've experienced the astonishing impact of his great deduction firsthand. This is like a dream come true. I can hardly believe it, but all the color has drained from Mr. Roylott's face, except for his nose. Looks like somehow both of Mr. Sholmes' conclusions were right. How could you? How could I possibly know such things you wish to say? Broseph, it's written all over your face, my dude. Very well then, I shall elucidate. Hold on. I shall explain how it was that I arrived at this pair of conclusions. So I do cordially invite you upon a journey of logical discovery. Let us board the train of reasoning, but plainly, let us work through my deductions together. The great deduction. The game is afoot. Wow, they were allowed to use that, huh? Old man's identity. Conclusion. So, the dubious-looking Russian Mr. Roylott, obviously what catches the eye in the first place, is that beard. Or, okay, is the enormous pair of shears in your hand. Now we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. You were on the verge of using those shears to cut away the copious beard you sport. Now, moving on. The question then begs this, why would you desire to rid yourself of this magnificent beard, Mr. Roylott? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. Regard, if you will, this morning newspaper, in particular the fascinating front page article, which it would appear you have read also, Mr. Roylott. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. In translation, the headline reads, Revolutionary Villain Bolshevik leaves Russia via Shanghai. They are great. The motion capture is fantastic. As you cannot fail to observe, the subject of the article possesses an extremely copious beard. God, he's very attractive, actually. Having noticed the article yourself, you decided to remove your incriminating facial hair before it gave you away. In short, your true identity is beyond doubt. You are the fearsome Russian revolutionary himself, Villain Bolshevik. Not that I've heard of you myself, you understand. This is great. Wrongdoing. Now, as for my second conclusion, you are, at this very moment, on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. Want the proof of this crime? Over there. Oh yes, Mr. Roylott. Being unawares, people have a great propensity to let their eyes stray, you see. Ah. And I assure you, your eyes speak so much more eloquently and honestly than the truth. The answer we seek lies where the furtive glance falls. Proof of your crime sits before our very eyes. Yes, that traveling case. It's time, I think, that the case be opened and its contents laid bare. No, I refuse. What could you possibly be concealing inside, we ask? Sunglasses aren't necessarily completely opaque. You can still see through them if you focus hard enough. By my estimation, a young lady, perhaps, once slight enough to hit. Oh, what? No. But don't be absurd. And what, pray, would the identity of this young lady? Could be the identity of the young lady in the traveling case? Dear me, we aren't well suited to a life of crime, are you? Your careless coup d'oeil. Coup d'oeil? Coup d'oeil. D'oeil. Betrays you. Once again. That's such a hard... L'oeil. That's such a hard word to say. It means eye. No, it doesn't. Yeah, no, l'oeil and then les yeux. Yeah. Singular eye is œil. And then les yeux is both eyes. Once again, we need only follow your furtive glance to find the answer. Yes, the reason you refuse to open your traveling case can equally be found in the pages of this newspaper. But there is another, most stimulating article on the back. If we turn the Fleeting Revolutionary to the back page. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. Such a headline can lead us to but one conclusion. Your crime is that of abduction. According to the article, the young lady's name is Nikolina Pavlova. My. Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of this Russian enigma. Elemensky. Elemensky. I like this guy so much. He's great. I like everybody. Suzata-san. That wasn't one of the great deductions I've been hearing so much about, was it? Well, stories are full of Mr. Sholmes' brilliant deductions, you know. But that did seem a little different somehow. Excuse me, Mr. Sholmes, could you come over here a moment? That sound, yep, yes. Pray, what can I do for you? It's about your deduction. It's about your deductions, would you mind? Not at all, go on. I have a feeling that we're gonna have to, you know, testimony this shit. Well, to start with, there's a newspaper article. I think we had the same discussion before, but these two men look nothing like each other. Haha, yeah. That's true. I forgot what he looked like, honestly, so I feel stupid about that. I realized it, like, when I was looking at him, but the noses are different, and I thought about it. The man is revolutionary, well able to represent. Oh, here we go again with that. Fairness to Mr. Sholmes. Mr. Roylott does look a lot more like this man than you do. That's not the point. And another thing. Part about him abducting Ballerina. Indeed, a truly startling revelation. At first glance, the case would appear too small to accommodate the young one. Not just at first glance, it is too small. It's too small for it. You'd be lucky to fit a 5-year-old child in that case, even if you pushed really hard. I don't suppose the missing ballerina is a 5-year-old child, is she? I mean, you don't know. No, the young lady's 15. No, I didn't know. How could I? Well, if she's 15, the 10 years worth of her would be poking up in the case. Some years ago, I read something pertinent, I believe. A group of men consuming vinegar daily in order to promote a certain litheness in their bodies. Vinegar? For such a sour lunch, it would surely be simplicity itself to contort oneself into the confines of that small case. Oh dear. You might be thinking of contortionists in the circus, Mr. Sholmes. This whole thing is turning into a circus. Sir Naruhodo, some things occurred to me about Mr. Sholmes' deductions just now. I think his powers of observation are, well, magical. His eyes cut to the heart of a matter almost instantly. It's just where he directs his attention and logic that seem a little off. Your idea of a little, maybe a little off itself, Miss Suzaku. Just one or two keywords in his deductions seem to let him down. I was wondering if we might perhaps tactfully switch them for alternatives. What do you think? Switch some keywords in his deductions. Yes, but very tactfully. I feel sure we could do that. We'd unlock the true genius of Mr. Sholmes' great deduction. Precisely the thought that was going through my own mind. This man is a lot of work. At times, I wonder how anyone puts up with me. It's not that funny. And you, my good fellow. Sorry. Take a good moment to look at your wrists. My wrists? He took them off, didn't he? Where are your handcuffs? Huh? How? How did... I felt they may hinder your ability to follow me in a dance of deduction. Oh no. Oh, Holy Mother. We hold this divination seance in your name. Let the eyes of everyone here be clear, and our ears be unstopped. O dance of devotion, guide the victim's soul to me, so that we may receive their memories in the pool of souls. I don't believe it. Mr. Sholmes, you are a marvel. And don't worry, I shall restore the shackles to your wrists when we are finished. I'm not worried. In fact, I'd rather stay like this. So, let us begin. Murloc Sholmes is proud to present his Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. Yep, there's a mini game. A little testimony. I'm not sure. Would you really use shears like that to cut off a beard? I doubt that's something I'll ever have to worry about. Doesn't quite sit right with me, though. Doesn't seem to be sitting right with Mr. Roylott either. Means I suppose deduction is wrong? Let's try to switch a keyword here, Naruto-san, and see if it helps matters. Alright, but how? I think we should start by taking a long, hard look at Mr. Roylott. I wonder if it's really his beard that he intended to use those shears on. Exactly. We do manage to find something that fits the sense of Mr. Sholmes' deduction better. Then what? Then I'll leave the rest in your capable hands, Naruto-san. Oh, Junie's playing Overcooked 2. Hope you're having fun. Why am I the one to do something about this? Well, anyway, let's see if there's anything we could even use to switch around in that last sentence. What exactly was Mr. Roylott really going to use those enormous shears for? Oh, I can use this. Golden locks. Ha! Oh my god, that's a wig. What the? What's this? It looks like a cascade of stunning golden locks. No, the color is not the point. The point is, what's it doing on the back of Mr. Roylott's head? How is it growing out from underneath his thick black hair? Well, yes, that's true. It's stunningly beautiful and stunningly surprising. Something's definitely not right here. I thought for sure that was it.
Yes!
Oh, I have to press R. It didn't say that. You were on the verge of using those shears to cut away the golden locks you sport. Indeed. You have identified the precise detail I was intending to expose. Such lush golden hair certainly does not befit an old man. You're not a man at all. You're a woman, and judging from the length and sheen of your hair, one still very much in her youth. What the hell? Oh no. Oh. Only I had managed to cut off my hair, no one would have suspected. The question then begged is this: why would you decide to rid yourself of these magnificent locks? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity about the revolution. Okay, here we go. Yep. Well, that was a shock. I had no idea the old man was really a young woman in disguise. I didn't get that voice right at all. Jesus Christ. What? Why are you staring at me like that? Yes, it was a surprise, Naruhodo-san. You're enjoying this, aren't you? Sorry? You look like you're in your element as you dance around the room deducing the facts of Mr. Schultz. I'm just doing what we agreed. I'm not having fun or anything. This is strictly business. No, not strictly... Yes, I understand. Say no more. Well, anyway, let's focus on the next part of Mr. Schultz's abduction, shall we? The evidence that he's picked up doesn't fit the facts at all now. No, that's true, given that Mr. Roylott is actually a woman. Exactly, he, or rather she, can't possibly be in this merciless revolutionary. Yeah. You're the ballerina.
Yes!
The evidence that reveals your identity, of course, the article about the ballerina. I assume so. That's right, you've hit the nail on the head. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. Did she what happened? She kidnapped herself or something? Yes, because your true identity is that of Novovich Ballet's prima ballerina, Miss Nikolina Pavlova. Ah! Oh my. Big hat. My. Oh my goodness. She's 15, but they really did not design her like a 15-year-old. Like, I would not have known that if they didn't talk about it. She was an adult. My real name is Nina. I mean, Nikolina Pavlova. But please, I beg you, don't tell anyone. I guess, it's not fine. It is not fine. That is not okay. Yeah, but I would have, if you just showed me the sprite, I would have thought she was like 30. Now, as for my second conclusion. It's a grievous crime. Yeah. The proof of this crime over there. Oh yes, Miss Pavlova. Taken unaware. Yeah. I think she looked at the desk. I do like the idea of getting to dance with him. She stole the tiara. I don't see what else it could be. Yeah, it has to be.
Yes!
Because that tiara is worth so much money, she smuggled it out of Russia. Indeed, it would appear to be identical to the tiara pictured here in this newspaper article. And if the reporting is to be believed, it's an item worth 20,000 rubles. You know who she looks like? She looks like an older version of Army Buff. From Spirit of Justice. The minute, like, I was like, who does she look like? She looks like somebody. It looks like Army Buff. The crime that you committed is theft. No. Yes. You left your ballet troupe, unlawfully taking their precious tiara with you. Ah. She does also remind me of Edelgard from Fire Emblem. I have no one, no family, no friends. I am all alone, and I need money. I'm not going to do that the whole time. But I did not steal the tiara. It was a present from, how do you say, an Earl of Prussia. It belongs to me. This girl's only 15 years old and she's run away all by herself. She must have been extremely lonely. Alright, I will tell you everything. There is no point to hiding it now. Come, come, let us not be hasty. What? There remains one unsolved mystery about you. Mystery? What do you mean? You have staunchly refused to open this traveling case of yours in our presence. It is reasonable to conclude, therefore, that there exists some reason why you wish it to remain closed. Is that not so, Miss Pavlova? My dear girl, there's no sense playing games with me. Nothing escapes my attention. Very good idea of the contents of your case, even before I've ever laid eyes on you. Dear me, we are not well suited to a life of crime. Oh, back to them. What? Okay, so at least it's limiting my field of view. So it's either the small picture. I'm not sure where they're going with this. It'd be the rules of passage, I guess, because I don't see what the small picture has to do with anything. Unless there wasn't one in No, we haven't found that out yet. Oh. No pet.
Yes!
Yes, the reason why I refuse to open your case, written in the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabin. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Inside that case of yours, there's something forbidden from carriage on this vessel. Inside that case of yours, there's something forbidden from carriage on this vessel. That is the reason why you refuse to open it, thus revealing its contents. As we've seen, the trunk wobbles from time to time, but no weapon or other dangerous item would move of its own accord. Which leaves but one possibility, Miss Pavlova. Inside your traveling case is a pet. It's the last item listed as forbidden in the vessel's rules of passage. A pet. It is a nice coat. I want hair. Like, honestly, I would love to rock a golden mane like that. So clearly you aren't who you said you were. No, I am not Grimesby Roylott. My real name is Nikolina Pavlova. Everything you said was correct. You absconded during one of your ballet company's performances in order to escape your homeland. Later that same night, you stole aboard this vessel, which couldn't have been easy. The Buria is a huge steamship with a vast crew. You have really snuck on board without being noticed. In order to obscure your true identity, you somewhat recklessly took the guise of an old gentleman, and you intended to sever all links with your past by severing your long hair. Yet to a woman, hair is no trifling matter. My personal recommendation is to leave well alone. So, if it was just you about to cut off your own hair, who was it that let out the scream we heard from outside the cabin? That veritable tinkling of a bell? Why, none other than this young lady, naturally. More like a full set of pipes, if you ask me. I was so scared when I ran away in Shanghai. I was sure they would come looking for me. That's why I decided to, how do you say, disgust myself, so no one would recognize me. As a result, you transformed yourself into that questionable old man? I see. I put on a fur hat and fake beard. Then, just before you came in here, I saw in the newspaper. Right on the page, there was a picture of me. I was so frightened. I couldn't stop from screaming. I knew that if I didn't change my appearances completely, they would find me. So I decided to cut all my hair as fastly as possible. I picked up the scissors in my hand and... At that precise moment, we walked in through the annoyingly unlocked cabin door. Things like that happen sometimes, don't they? Things do indeed happen like that from time to time. Indeed, it do be like that sometimes. Are those two even talking about the same thing? Dude, I think you're just here. You. There's just one more thing I'd like to know. What exactly do you have in your traveling case? You were right. It is my dear friend inside. My only friend in the whole world. Please, don't tell anyone. If the captain finds out, if you say to any of the crew, your secret is safe with us, I assure you. But in return, you must tell us in as much detail as you can muster about the events of last night. Yes, alright, I will tell you. Well, Mr. Naruto? Wasn't it something, Mr. Schultz's great deduction? It was certainly something, yes. I'm just not entirely sure what. But at least Miss Pavlova has agreed to tell us what she knows. That's incredible. Indeed, it is incredible. Ah, and one more thing. Oh, yes? What? Observe your wrists. Yep, they're back on. Ah, your hands are cuffed again. What? But how? True to my word, I have restored your shackles. When and why? There is still a shadow of guilt cast over you, Mr. Naruto. I'm sorry to say. Can't be helped at the moment. Can't it? Really? Anyway, let's listen to what Miss Pavlova has to say. I can't go on not knowing. I have to find out what the speckled band that Kazuma-sama wrote about in his diary really was. I have a feeling we're about to. Converse. Did you know that someone was killed in the cabin next door to this one last night? One of the crewmen told me this morning when I was eating breakfast. The man who died, he was a friend of mine. Oh, that's why we're trying to find out what happened. Did you notice anything unusual last night? Perhaps you heard a strange noise, for example? Perhaps people talking? Perhaps the ship was absorbed in a wild tempest. Perhaps its steam engine exploded. Perhaps everyone on board would have noticed if that had happened? Oh god. Miss Pavlova, is there anything you can tell us? I don't know. I'm sorry, but all I could think about last night was what I had done and whether they would find me. I didn't notice anything that was happening around me. Oh, I see. Oh, poor thing. I feel really bad for her. You've run away from your ballet company, haven't you? The Novovich Ballet. Yes. I'm traveling to Great Britain, and from there I want to go to America. I will never dance again. I want to forget everything about the ballet. I will start a new life. I've heard that the ballet can be fairly abusive, so... If that has any... I feel bad for her. You wish to forget a challenging proposition when you have that striking tiara as a reminder. But the tiara is mine. I need to live. I have no money of my own. Novovich Ballet only gives us a little food and water, and we must dance all over the world. I have to run away. I had no choice. If they stayed, they would have killed me. It would have killed me. Is that what you said? If I stayed, it would have killed me. Okay. Yes, and the crew of the ship, they have all been kind to me. They let me come on board and said I could hide in the cabin. If that is indeed the truth, Miss Pavlova, creates a most interesting, intriguing conundrum. Yes, it does. What do you think about it? Ryu has no idea. Me? Oh, well, yes, of course. I think we should hear Miss Pavlova's explanation. For what conundrum? I'm not sure, but... Oh, that's not... Oh, yeah, that's awful. Conundrum. Pavlova, allow me to pose you a riddle. According to this newspaper, it was only yesterday that you absconded from the ballet. Now, that being the case, it must have been last night that you boarded this vessel. However, the SS Boreas stopped by no port last night. That's it, of course. How is it, pray, that you come to be aboard? Now that I think about it, the crewman outside the cabin acted very strangely when he mentioned that. It was just after we asked him about when the occupant of this cabin came aboard. Oh yeah, Mr. Beef Stroganoff. Mr. Beef Stroganoff. That is not your business. Yes, you're right. He did seem to be hiding something. An angel descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to the stage. Sorry, what was that? It is how the Russian newspapers described one of my performances. And that is how I came here too. I descended from the heavens because I'm an angel. Just Mitrov? Did he have a first name? Considering English is your mother's tongue, your description is very vivid. Mr. Sholmes wants it. Oh, Mitrov Stroganov. Okay. So Stroganov got changed? Got kept? Okay. I never can resist the touch of the dramatic. It seems Miss Pavlova is the same. A genius descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to this detection. Words once said about myself. But from a wonderfully extravagant advertisement for the adventures of Herlock Sholmes, in fact. Oh my lord. Yes, yes, Mr. Shelley. Oh, Mitrov Stroganov. Meatloaf Stroganov, okay. That's funny. I like beef. I know what beef stroganoff is, but I wouldn't have gotten meatloaf stroganoff that fast. Anyway, it doesn't look like Miss Pavlova is going to tell us what really happened. So the friend you mentioned is inside your traveling case, is that right? I don't think animals are allowed on board according to the rules of passage. Oh please, don't tell any of the crew. If they found my precious. Then the burly Russians would bestir themselves in unison to throw you and your case overboard, no doubt. So reassuring, Mr. Sholmes. What sort of pet is your friend? A little puppy? It is, isn't it? No. Maybe an adorable little rabbit? Ha! You credit Russia as a land with small rabbits, do you? Don't they have small rabbits there? They will ask. I have no idea. You two are miserable bunglers when it comes to understanding the nature of young ballerina's friends. Isn't it obvious? It must be a chicken. Why a chicken? They're the benefits of rousing wake-up call, daily fresh eggs. When adversity strikes, it can satisfy the needs of sustenance. So you'd eat your friends. I'll remember that. Well, it would appear this friend's identity is a closely guarded secret not to be revealed. She obviously doesn't quite trust us yet. There's something I'd like to show her, I think. If she might be able to shed some light on it. Oh, I know. She might be able to read, this thing. Oh wait, it says Russian. It says wardrobe. Oh, I guess I showed it the wrong thing. My bad, my bad. The diary of my friend who passed away. His diary? Yes, and he wrote about in it last night before he died. Something a little unusual. It reads, "On 23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. And a few minutes later, 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill." A speckled band? I don't understand. It's strange, isn't it? But the ventilator he mentions joins to this cabin you see. It's up there on the wall. In other words, this cabin and the victim's cabin are connected together. Oh! Miss Pavlova? Has something occurred to you? Does the speckled band the victim mentioned mean something to you? Or the whistling sound, perhaps? No, I don't know anything. Oh. Is that house? Oh, it's Roman. Excuse me, Mr. Roylott. Yes? What? Wow, she's fast. Captain would like to speak with you. You must come to the captain's quarters at once, please. Alright, I will come now. What? You must leave now. Oh no, it's fine, don't mind us. Yes, please don't worry yourself, Mr. Roylott. Get out. The passenger said out. Or do you want me to throw you out? Ugh. I think we'll have to leave investigating this cabin until later. Oh, what a pity. We've been going for a while, this investigation sequence. We lost our chance. Having still not managed to investigate Miss Pavlova's cabin, we were unceremoniously chased out. That is to say, we were quite literally picked up and thrown into the passageway outside. Oh, look at that. Guess the investigation's gonna pick up after this? Well, I've only been going for 2.5 hours, so we can keep going. But this would be a good chance for me to take a break, actually. So we're gonna take a 10 minute break. If that's cool. So I will be right back. Go to the bathroom, drink some water, whatever it is you need to do. I will see you back here in a little bit. I very rarely go on intermissions, if you can tell, so I have no idea how to say that I'm starting one. Anyway.